So, my dad is a freak for fishing. Anytime, anywhere, anyhow, nothing is out of that man's league. He is like the Indiana Jones of fishing. Unfortunately, growing up, that made me short round. I don't know if you remember the little Chinese kid from Temple of Doom that Indy rescued, who was always getting into trouble and saying things like, "No time for love, Dr. Jones." Yeah, that was me when it came to fishing growing up. Little, afraid, and always getting into trouble. For example, Fiji, deep sea fishing when I was 12, got so seasick that I spent the whole trip vomiting all over the boat. 2 years later in Tonga, spear gun fishing. Well, I shot a rainbow fish and it died in front of my little eyes, and I spent the whole afternoon crying. Awful. 2 years later, fishing the Adirondacks with my dad, he manages to capsize the canoe with me in it while he's standing on the shore. But of course, my dad is loving all of this. He'll be relaxing at the end of the day with a glass of his favorite single malt Glenlivet scotch, looking at the catch or the sunset. I'll be standing next to him, the taste of vomit in my mouth, still crying, dripping wet. He'll pat me on the back and say something like, "God, son, isn't this just beautiful? I'm so glad that we had this chance to spend some quality time together." Yeah, I'm fucking loving this, Dad. Thanks. So, when I was in high school, my dad tells me, "Son, we're going piranha fishing in the Amazon." That's right, piranha fishing. Immediately, I think either A, I'm going to fall out of the boat and get eaten by piranhas. Option B, we're starting the trip in Venezuela where there'd been a very violent coup d'etat recently, so I was going to get shot by counter-revolutionaries hiding in the jungle. Or there's option C, I fall out of the boat and get eaten by some motherfucking piranhas. And this is how we end up on a boat on the Rio Negro, which translates to the very comforting phrase, the Black River. And that makes it sound like the kind of place where a cult goes to commit group suicide. And it actually looks that way too, because the river actually is black, and there's nothing but ominous, dense jungle that rises up on either side of it. And when you look around, you know that you are truly in the middle of nowhere. And as if to grind this point home, our guide tells us on the first day to not get hurt because it'll take us 2 days to get to a hospital. And most people don't make it that long. Very reassuring. Now, to prove that within these black waters there would actually be some piranhas, he takes out 2 chicken breasts and throws them into the water off the boat. And it's insane. It's a feeding frenzy. The water goes white for a second, and then the chicken breasts are gone. And I have to say, this is very cool when you can watch it from the comfort of your couch. And it's not very cool when you can fall off the boat into it. And of course, my dad loves this. Indiana Jones loves it. You know, he's like, "Bet a lot of guys don't go naked, fishing naked for piranha." And I'm like, "Oh, right, there's always option D, Dad. I can get my dick bitten off over the course of this trip." Thanks for bringing that one up. I appreciate it. So we actually end up catching a fair number of piranhas over this first day. To be fair, my dad catches all of them. I keep getting my line tangled. I think it's a subconscious response because, you know, I've seen what the piranha can do to chicken breasts, and I don't want to take one on board and have it, you know, mistake a thumb for a drumstick or something like that. And after a long day of doing this, I'm just bored, I'm tired, I'm just worn out. I want to get off the boat and read my copy of Return of the King that I very faithfully brought with me. And so when we, you know, dock to make camp for the night, I just want to get off the boat, and I'm trying to run off, but my dad says, No, son, give us a hand unloading." All right. So I grab my backpack, and I'm looking around for what else I can grab, and I spy my father's bottle of Glenlivet single malt scotch, and I think, this is what Dad wants. This is the only civilized way for the Indiana Jones of fishing to unwind right now after piranha fishing. So I pick up the bottle and I get to the front of the boat, and then realize that when you dock in the middle of nowhere, there's actually no dock. You just anchor offshore, and then you jump from the prow of the boat to the land. And depending on where the mooring line is kind of dragging the boat, you have between 3 and 6 feet. And so I kind of like look over at the land, and then I look down at the water, and all the little voice in my head is just chicken breast, chicken breast, chicken breast. But I, summon some courage, take a deep breath, step back, and then jump. And as soon as I do, I know that something has gone horribly, horribly, horribly wrong. And I don't know what it is until I look down and I see the bottle of scotch spinning out of my hands towards the water below me as I'm blissfully sailing towards the shore. And I'm grabbing for it, and I'm trying to get it, but it's already just too far gone. And for a moment, time stops, and I see my whole life flash before my eyes. Nothing but very bad outfits and very poor choices in the haircut department. And then the bottle hits the water. Thankfully, I hit the shore, and my father roars, "What the hell just happened?" And I'm kind of crouched there on ground, and I'm just kind of glad to be there and alive and not in the mouth of a piranha. Well, get that fucking bottle! And I look over at him, and we've all seen that look on a parent's face before. It's a mixture of anger and disappointment. And as a kid, I just wanted to make it right. I wanted to do right by him and, make this all go away. And then the little voice in my head just goes, chicken breast, chicken breast, chicken breast. Dad, what about the piranhas? Piranhas don't drink scotch. I do. What the fuck? I had made peace with that rainbow fish that I had killed. I didn't mind spending a day vomiting. That's just a day. I didn't even mind getting tipped out of the canoe in the Adirondacks. But this is where I drew the line. Because I am not a chicken breast. You know what, Dad? Tonight, piranhas do drink scotch. Thank you.